This will be a UtiliPad video on pulling UtiliPad data into partner software. So to begin, the most important thing is you have to have your job open in UtiliPad. We're going to go into UtiliPad and go down to the Actions menu. Under the Action menu, there's several icons. The one we're going to care about looks like a little cloud with an arrow towards it. We're simply going to click on this. It's important to realize that at this point, especially if you had photos, this process may take a few minutes. So you want to make sure, A, you have a valid data orbit set up, and 2, that you're probably on Wi-Fi rather than eating up your cell data. What will happen once you click it, it will authenticate, it will upload, and it'll give you the transmission successful message. If I go down to my settings and go to my data orbit settings, you'll notice that the username and password that we set up on the original job setup is not only gets us our configuration, but is what is going to send data to partner. So what we're going to do now is we're done in UtiliPad. We've transmitted that from the field. So we're going to come over here to our device manager 5.7 beta and go into data orbit settings. Inside there, you will put the same username and password that we utilized for our setup. Then we're going to go to export to partner, and it's going to show us all of the jobs that have been uploaded to data orbit. We toggle down to the one that we want. In this case, it was called vlog, and simply click export data. So it's very, very similar to what you were doing when you were connecting to Windows Mobile, except that we are now connecting to data orbit instead of physically having to connect to a device. Once we're done with the export, we can now open up partner. At this point, you would want to open up your partner work order. I'm going to create one from scratch because I obviously am not connected to a hub here. I'm going to open it up, and of course I'm going to show up over a blank canvas because I wasn't collecting this data over my Athens map set. I'm going to go to File, Mobile Device File Import. You notice it's automatically looking at the same device manager export directory we've used for years. It shows me my vlog. I can hit preview so I can zoom in on exactly where that job will be located, and you should recognize this from the other tutorial video series, and we hit OK. And there's our job, just like we had collected it with Mobile Staker. If I hit edit, you see all my units come across, all of my phasing, my size, my comments, everything comes across on the units, and my location comments and location names. The only thing I'll point out with this version of Device Manager is that the stations did come across as locations. So if we wanted to complete our job on the overhead, we would then convert those to stations. Okay. What I'm going to do next is show you an alternate way to get this. I'm going to go with any web browser and go out to something called dataorbit.net. When you go to dataorbit.net, it gives you a place for the same username and password that we entered into Device Manager and UtiliPad. We'll simply enter that in, click Login, and it's going to take us to a page that's going to show us all those same jobs we just had in Device Manager. These are all the jobs that we've uploaded. There's that vlog job, and if I look at the formats, the default is partner XML, but I also have a shapefile and a CSV option. There are more formats coming, and I'll talk about those other formats in a different video series. For this particular one, I'm going to click on the job I want. It's going to download it to a zipped file, and I'm just going to choose where I want to put that. In my case, I'm just going to put it right on the desktop. And if I go out to the desktop, you can see that zip file right here on my desktop. And if I open it up, you can see it's just partner XML data all compressed into one zip file. So if I extract that to a temporary folder on my desktop, I can come back into partner. I will open another new job. I don't want to pull it into the same job as before, so I'm going to create another alternate job. I'm going to come up here to File, Staker, Mobile Device Import, just like I did before. But this time, instead of looking at the default export folder, I'm going to hit Browse, and I'm going to go over to my desktop, to that temporary folder I created, and you can see that I now have a vloc job inside that folder. If I click preview, once again zooms in over the job. I click OK and it imports it. The only difference between this and exporting from Device Manager is the web portal is smart enough to understand that if I call that location type a station, that it needs to be brought into Partner as an underground station. Other than that, the jobs are identical. If I click on any location here, I can edit it and you'll see all those same units brought across, and it was identical if I took it down from Device Manager or from the web portal. So that completes this tutorial.